Hello and welcome to week 5 of this little YouTube series. This is Aiden.
Hi.
He's been on the camera a little bit throughout, but it's mostly me asking Aiden what time it is.
Yeah.
Continuously, all the time. So this week's episode is going to be a little bit of a different one. I think I mentioned it in last week's one, but basically the number one question both Aiden and I get asked continuously, like without a shadow of a doubt, we know we will get asked this question, and it's literally just like, how do we work together? And like it'll be around like the idea of like the process of Aiden like joining the company, if it happened naturally, like all of that. Like we get asked all those questions all the time. From different types of people, so people who are curious about doing it themselves potentially with their partner, and then also with people who genuinely could not imagine anything physically worse, right? So both from that side. And then I thought, why not do an actual video on it? Ta-da!
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 Yeah, so we're doing a little video just basically on this idea, and it comes at a really good time because I didn't do this on purpose, but I literally had a call this morning at like 9:15 with a gal who reached out literally about this idea, about how her husband wants to potentially come work in the business at one point. And I was like, I'm actually recording a video on this later, so give me the juice, do you know what I mean?
Give me the juice.
The juice to like serve, like as in to
Give me the tea, you mean?
maybe. I'm not English, okay? But that's basically what today's video is going to be about. It's literally just going to be about those questions that we get asked all the time. I did do a post on LinkedIn putting out literally that I was going to be doing this, and I had some questions come through, so we're going to go through those as well. And then we also noted down like ones that we've just been asked like as a whole as well. And that's basically what it is. So if you are interested in knowing how Aiden came to work in the business, what it's like to actually work with your partner and all of that jazz, please follow along. Just to bear in mind, it's currently 1 p.m. or as the shop comes between 1 and 2. So there will be a knock on the door at one point, and we will be pausing to run, get that, and then like dream about what we're gonna have for dinner, because I think we're gonna make I'm kind of obsessed with shakshuka, I don't know, but vegan shakshuka. So I'm gonna attempt to make one of those for our dinner tonight.
Yes. Yes.
I'm very excited. Okay, we'll get straight into it. But yeah, in case you don't know, this is Aiden. It's my husband. So this is actually one we literally got asked this question loads when we did the last London event, and it was, how did you and Aiden meet? I probably won't go into like the full story because it's obviously a personal one, but I was actually 17. Aiden was like 18.
I always forget.
Yeah, I think you were about 18.
I think I was 18. I think it was just 18 stuff. No, I was 19.
No, you were 19. Because there's like a year and like 3 months.
I was 19.
April, May, June, July, August, September. There's a year and 5 months between us. So Aiden was 19, I was 17. We met like at where I used to work, and then Aiden used to like coach basketball basically because there. And that was 10 years ago.
10 years ago in February. Well, no, 10 years ago in December. In February is when we actually got to our relationship.
Yeah. So it's been a long time. But yeah, we met 10 years ago.
Just through work.
No, through work again.
Through work.
Yeah, 10 years ago in short.
Oh, yeah.
The other one is, when did Aiden officially join the business? So I think we need to go through like a bit of because obviously you'll have your point of view on this stuff, like in some of these questions, but which is so relevant too. It's not just mine. But Aiden, basically, it's been a bit of a long process. Like whenever anyone says that they want to do it with their partner too and all that, and they ask about the process for it, it was quite a while.
It took a couple of years.
It took a few years.
Well, it didn't just take a couple of years. It took a few years, yeah, because it was... Anyway, yeah, go on.
Yeah, no. So Aiden was always interested in like graphic design, and like he'd helped his dad with like some animations and like motion graphics and things.
I was interested in what you were doing as well. Like, I just found what you did really cool and really interesting before I knew what it was.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
But it was at that part, but it was like a slow journey. Like Aiden saw what I did. He did some like the motion graphics himself whilst he was a PE teacher. And then it was like during COVID, because I feel like in most relationships you don't really always see. Now it might be a little bit different because of remote working, but you don't always actually see like what the other person actually does day to day. You don't see what the work is, and it wasn't really until like COVID that you were fully able to see it, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think I always kept an eye on what you were doing. Obviously, I'd always ask what you were up to and stuff like that, and I always took an interest. So, but obviously, yeah, I think during COVID I saw, obviously, in more firsthand because of not always being in and having that time off. Well, say time off, like time in school, time out of school, and all that sort of stuff because of COVID. Like the bits where we were working from home, or had to do bit of personal development from home or whatever it was, because it was just a weird time when you were, as a teacher, any teacher will tell you that was just a very strange time and everyone was just working on the fly a little bit. So getting to see it firsthand a little bit more was defo. That was kind of the start, really.
Yeah, so it took quite a while, and then I remember there was a point that Aiden like came to me and he was basically just like, how would I feel like he was stepping on my toes if he looked into marketing basically? And I was just like,
Why should?
of course not, because I don't believe that like if you would love your partner to work within your business or whatever, I don't think you should ever pressure them into it. I think if someone wants to do something, they need to want to do it for themselves, as well as like the people can want to do it for other people too, and let's make them happy to a certain degree. But at the end of the day, they need to be able to do it for themselves. Otherwise, they're not actually going to like thrive in it in any way, shape, or form. And I also think like resentment can build up if they're doing it for someone else and then they don't actually enjoy it. So I'd never pushed Aiden to like learn about it necessarily until you actually came to me, and I was like, duh, like, of course.
And then,
I'm like, still like, God, what kind of the time?
and then like during again, alongside seeing what Myra did a bit more during COVID, that was when kind of my role began to change as a PE teacher within a primary school. So those changes obviously came in, and as we were coming out of COVID, they just weren't the lifestyle, I guess, that teaching brings. And I love teaching, and I still do love teaching, and I highly respect everybody who still does it. I still have a lot of friends who teach and stuff like that. But the lifestyle wasn't for me anymore, and I really wanted a bit more freedom, because I'd been obviously in education all the way up to through college, then straight into working in schools, and then as a teacher, all out of college. So my whole professional career, I always had to be dictated by the times that terms were on and holidays. I've missed so many holidays with friends and family. You know, you miss, as you get older, if you're still a teacher, you miss things like weddings and funerals and these big occasions, birthdays, you miss all these different things. Whereas I really wanted that freedom to kind of not miss those things, and travel as well was a big thing. I really wanted to get out more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew you always wanted to travel. So I wanted to do something that would allow me to do that as well with you. Yeah. So yeah, just that COVID period really just changed my perception on what I wanted to do and how I wanted to go about my life, I guess is the best way to describe it. So,
or life.
Yeah, my professional life. So then we were in Amsterdam, weren't we?
Yeah, that was when I helped you write your notice.
Yeah, wrote my notice when we were in Amsterdam, and that was during a half-term break, and then got back and handed it in straight away, and then...
I think you're skipping ahead though, because before Aiden actually handed in his notice, you did like...
Oh, yeah.
You did loads.
Yeah.
You did loads. It was like a 10-month period before handing in his notice of like learning, because when he came to me first, it was like a case of, look, where do I start? And at that point, I was doing social influencer marketing, I was doing a bit of paid ads, and I was doing email marketing, so I was doing a bit of everything. So I could basically be like, in like content creation within those as well. So I could literally be like, try everything, like try all of them, because I do believe like not every area of market is meant for everyone, but also you just generally don't know what you're going to like until you try it. So I remember it was a Google digital marketing course. That was like the first one that I said to do because it gave you like a foundation, like an overview. And then from there, I pulled out like other courses. Like I even had like some freelance courses like that were all like that.
I bought that during COVID actually. I bought that graphic design course as well. Which I did started right at the start of it, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean.
And I helped you. I helped you with some bits and bobs during the weekends for like a year and a half, didn't I? Just to help you out a little bit and just mainly admin-y type stuff, really.
Yeah, that was like that was for the first 10 months.
Yeah.
So it was like a case of like, this is where, when I say it takes time, but also like, you are having to like, at that point, how old are you?
Actually, I don't know the whole time period.
Maybe
blends into one.
25 or something like that, but it was a case of like restarting, obviously, your career. So it's not going to be quick. So the plan, I basically put in a plan together of like, these are the courses.
I put a plan together.
I didn't put a plan together. So that courses for Aiden to do, to look into, so then you could understand what it was that he actually liked and didn't like. And then also it was a case of like, basically, anything that like wasn't client facing, I was like, give it to Aiden to help me with. That could be like admin.
Yeah.
Like organising.
It was just a lot of background stuff. It was really just a lot of background stuff. Just to kind of get my head around things and stuff.
Very much so like the assistant. Yeah, very much so the assistant side of things. Like when I spoke to someone this morning, I said the same thing. I was like, if it's not client facing and you want, like your partner does want to do something like this with you, having them do anything that's like a more assistant-y, like frees you up to do more of what you want to do, that's the best way to basically, it's not going to affect your clients if they mess up, so they can still work on all of those kind of things. So they're still learning, they're still having the opportunity to like basically like delve into all the different areas of your business. So you did that like after school, and
I was doing my degree as well at the same time. So I was finishing my degree and helping out with some background stuff as well, because I was still having to do that.
you absolutely.
It was in my final year with me.
You got graft. You did. So you were doing like.
I did so much that year. That was a big year.
Yeah, well that's literally what it is. It's like it's a lot of work to be able to do anything like this. So it did that for like 10 months, and then you handed in your notice because it was a case of like you've done bits and bits and bits, and obviously I had to prep my side, even like to have Aiden like join the business as well, financially, and then you handed in your notice. It was like a 3-month notice period.
Well, with teaching, as any teacher will know, if you want to maybe move schools or leave your job, it's not even like 3 months, it's term time based. So it was like I had to hand it in before a certain date to then be able to leave at a certain point. So for example, I left, I handed mine in, what was that, around April, yeah. If I left it maybe a couple more weeks, I actually would have had to wait. I technically could have left earlier, but I wanted to finish out the school year. So I handed it in April, so I could have left earlier, but I just said, no, I want to finish at the end of the year. So it gave me enough time from April, May, June, July, give 4 months basically, then did the last 4 months until school year was over.
So it was a case of like, it's just like my advice is always like, you just be prepared, like have a plan in place, but the other person, the other person needs to want it as much as you do. I wanted it for Aiden in the way of like, I know how much more flexibility I had. I might have been working more, but I had so much more flexibility with my life than Aiden did. So I knew that like once he had that, like, I knew he'd love it, but you can't put all of your feelings and emotions onto them, that they need to be able to like see that for themselves as well. So he did that, and then Aiden officially joined the business in like the August of 3 years ago.
when do we go at Cranking Area? That's how I work it out. Was it 2022? Was it?
Yeah, so it's 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like August, so we're in October now, so it was like August just gone 3 years. That's when you officially joined.
So I always say like it's been 4 years sort of working. Or 3 years.
Yeah, because you were working like after work, weekends, all of it. You were doing quite a bit. And obviously then training in it as well and all of that. So that's when Aiden officially joined the business. And in that whole year, was basically like another year for like Aiden to like learn graphic design, but then also like Aiden worked within like every area.
My thing, yeah.
Yeah, which I believe everyone should do. Like
Definitely not generalize with how many different fields there are within it. You need to give everything a bit of a go. Because there was one point where I didn't think I wanted to do graphic design as well. And it's like, in that whole year, like I wanted to do graphic design, didn't want to do it anymore and wanted to do some other things, and then came back to graphic design afterwards.
Yeah, it was so difficult though, because I never wanted to push graphic design on Aiden, but I hate graphic design. So it made it perfect. As a companion.
People are going to think you orchestrate.
We do, ladies. We do. No, I had a client who I spoke to yesterday morning. She was like, "We need to let people think." What was that? We need to let men think. It's their decision. She was talking about cushions. What were your first thoughts about mixing business and relationship? I had no, like there was, I just came Cladda, like my busiest. I've always seen it as like, which I'm kind of trying to separate a little bit this past year, but I've always seen it as an extension of me. Like I've always seen it as me. So I never saw it as like mixing business and relationships in this way, because I see and always have seen Cladda as like a huge part of our future, which affects both of us. And at that point I still planned on marrying Aiden as well, so like I saw you as my future too. So I never, there's never like, I didn't have any mixed feelings or anything about it.
Yeah, I think I didn't have any mixed feeling about mixing it. It was just, I think, learning how to sort of navigate it, I think, was more the way I'd describe it. It's like, that's the only thing that I felt like we'd have to work, and which you do, of course, you have to learn to navigate it, but I didn't have any issues with it. I was excited by it because I thought it meant, well, we'll spend more time together. We get to, like at the time, when I joined in the August, we then went and worked and lived in Gran Canaria for 2 months.
Yeah, we did.
So as soon as it started, 2 weeks later or something like that, went to Gran Canaria and worked there for 2 months. And
showed him the fine life.
So I think it was more just that, just more learning how to navigate it, not necessarily being opposed to doing it.
Yeah. This one we get, do you know, we get this one quite a lot. I think it was like Kay who mentioned this one as well at the last CRM meetup that we did. But how do you handle it when we disagree with each other? This, I would say, took a really long time to actually like figure out.
And this is what I was saying before about navigating it a little bit, like how do you, when there is a disagreement about something.
I think this one took us the longest because when Aiden joined, I hired my first full-time employee before Aiden hired. So it was like basically just me and Anna at the beginning. And then like we had some of the part-time people that joined as well. So I was saying this morning to Holly as well, and the call I was on. I think I went so far, like I can switch off from things quite well. And I felt, and me and Aiden we're cringe, like we're very cringe. And I think I went too far one end, like as in like, you know, Margaret partner versus Margaret boss. I went too far one side, where I was more blunt to Aiden than I was to, like I was. Yeah, it wasn't nice. I was much more blunt to Aiden than I would be to anyone else. I was much more straight to it. I was much more like, you know, the whole like bullshit sandwich. There was no sandwich. It was just bullshit. It was just that part in the middle. I think it was because I was thinking I needed to be like that so that people didn't think I was treating them different or anything like that. I don't know. But that took us a minute.
Yeah, I think it was just like learning, like they say, separating that business and sort of personal aspect of it, of like, you know, not letting it carry over and stuff like that. That is a thing that, you know, you do need to navigate and need to learn how to do, and how you communicate and the different ways you deal with these different things like that. But I think it was just about learning how to communicate properly and communicate through them. And now when we do have a disagreement, I don't feel like it ever necessarily when it comes to professional stuff, it never stretches into personal now. And to be fair, we both talk about the goals of the company. So if it is a disagreement about something, it literally is just in the case of like how we see moving forward with something. It's never like a negative thing. It's never like,
yeah, I'm like, and that's too pink.
yeah, it's always about like sort of how our ideas about how we move forward as a business and as a company and as an agency. And it's, you know, I think that's also the main thing, is understanding like if you are both invested, everything you're suggesting, you might be disagreeing on certain things when it comes to like business stuff, but you both have your heart in the right place. So it's understanding that, I think.
I think that's a really important thing to let, not even an important, I think a special thing when it comes to actually being able to work with your partner is there's no one that's going to love your business as much as you do. Like, there will be no one else. And you'll have like employees and stuff who will be like amazing advocates for the business, but there won't be anyone who will like care for your business the same way and put the same amount of energy in as like your partner, like your significant other. That was that was like a transition.
Yeah.
Learning to be able to work with your partner in that way. And then also like being able to, you don't naturally spend as much time as like we spend with each other, with your partners. Like you don't, like if you're in work and then if you're at home as well. So understanding like that and how that can lead to more tensions when you're like it's new was important to like.
I think well, if we, I know at the start I was obviously learning a lot, and you know, especially as I was like sort of trying to figure out what really what to go down. So let's say if there was a disagreement about, I don't know, say we were doing social media or video or something, and the way I edited it or the way I designed a graphic for a social thing, I think at the start, well, me, because when I was a teacher, as a PE teacher, out in charge, I was, you know, I was learning to take that feedback and not, and then learning when, if I believed in something, to then communicate that. There's all these different little bits that you need to think about when you're thinking about like communication aspects of like, you know, if you're giving that other person feedback like you were giving to me, how do I communicate back to you, and how do you communicate that to me? And you know, even though I was a staff member, let's say, you still got to think of, you can't just like, you know, there's always different ways to talk to different people, and especially a partner, I think, and it's talking about learning how that is, how you do that.
I think as well, like when I spoke to that girl this morning about the same topic, I was saying about how like it's also like it's removing your ego, because it's very difficult, and that's very difficult to do if you're coming from a position where like you've been in charge, or you've been like head of something, or you've been like really far along in your say career, and then you come and you want to do something with your partner's business. Like I'd been doing it at that stage when Aiden joined, like 4 years, something like that. As freelancing as well.
Well, I am that because you started in uni. Uni was, you started actually technically before uni, so you count that. That's at least 5-6 years.
Yeah, we'll say like proper freelancing, probably like 4 years.
Proper freelancing, yeah, about 4 years.
When I knew I was actually freelancing. So doing like proper freelancing, it was probably like 4 years. So, like I knew what I was doing. Aiden did. Our battery just went dead, so we just like charged it for like 5 minutes, and we're going to see how long this can get us through. So I'm just going to move on. So I hope we ended it on an actual point.
Yeah, I thought we made some sense. Some point to finish.
Quite a few other types of questions that people ask.
Oh, it is.
Oh, boundaries. About how like we separate both. I think I'm, maybe it's psychotic, but I think I'm quite good at like separating things and like switching from one brain to the other. But in that same breath, I'm a workaholic. Like I am self-confessed workaholic.
Look, if you're working with your partner on a business together, work is going to become a big part of your life and a big part of the conversations you're going to have, even when you're not working. That's just like a fact. It is what it is. But obviously, again, if you're passionate about it and you both really want to do well with it, then that's not a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you don't actually enjoy it, which then why you're doing it. So I think it's more like the setting boundaries, but also understanding that it does become a very big part of everything that you do.
It's being realistic about that, yeah.
You know, it's very difficult to just switch off. But I think it's like separating the negative bits, like if you have a disagreement about something work or business.
That's work.
Yeah, that's work. That's not personal. And same with personal and then business, vice versa. If, there's something going on in personal life or there's like a thing, but you need to focus on work.
What do you mean more perfect?
No, but it could genuinely be like the fact that I didn't do the shopping on time or something something trivial. But then if there's something that needs to be done for work, is understanding, you got to get it done for work. It doesn't have to, it's not always a big thing because we like to be little. It's a lot of the time little things, isn't it? So boundaries wise, I think you have to be prepared. It is going to get a bit grey in areas, but
yeah, I think it's being realistic with that. They will get grey in some of those areas and they will like flip over and spill into one another. But I think we're quite good at, like, even when we go to like networking events and events and things like that.
We run to opposite sides of the room.
We go on like opposite sides of the room and then people will be like, are you here with anyone? I'm like, I'm actually here with my husband. He's all the way over there.
It's like we look at each other. All right, see you later. Yep, see you. Just separate.
Yeah. But also not, I would say, like, when it comes to professional settings, like anyone who has ever worked for us or with us in any capacity, the only time they've probably ever seen us actually kiss would have been at our wedding. Like, we're not like public affectionate people, especially in work settings. Like, we don't even like hold hands when we're in like, if we're walking from one place to other place with people who we're working with, we wouldn't like hold hands. We're quite, and then the second they leave, we're like, we do. Every time Tiff leaves us when we walk from the co-work, we're like talking and walking, and then as soon as he leaves, we're like, oh.
It's such a mel.
We are. But so we separate that, like, we're not, and even like when we like would work at the team and stuff, especially when the team was bigger, we would automatically sit beside each other. Like,
no, we make a concerted effort to make sure it's like, especially if there's other people around and stuff like that. Nobody, everyone's there to do work.
Yeah, and I hate that thought of making anyone uncomfortable.
Yeah, and we're there to do work as well. Like, we're not, we've got shit to do.
So it's like,
it's flooded. We've got stuff to do.
We've got stuff to do. We've got to do. We.
And just. Magic of editing. Cut that out.
Covering of anywhere. It's PG fucking YouTube channel. Anyway, but alongside that, I think it's like we are quite good in the way of like we still plan things. Like we'll always plan to do things that have nothing to do at work. And then like if we're watching a movie, we're not like they're sat there chatting about like client stuff.
No, and there's a time and a place for the conversation. You'll learn when that is.
I think as well, like, Aiden always knows if he gets a message on WhatsApp, it's me asking, should we do something after work, or like, can I have coffee, or
chocolate peppers.
Yeah, or chocolate
peppers.
Yeah. Whereas if he gets a message on Slack, it's like, can you check this, or I've left some edits on this.
I think that really helps, having those two separate communication channels, which seems a bit extra in one setting, but like it does help. Like everything's professional-wise normally Slack-based. And the only time that ever creeps on into WhatsApp is if there's an emergency with work. I think it's like, I need to get hold of you now, and that's vice versa, isn't it? But we do keep those having those separate communication channels actually does really help, actually. I think that's actually a really good point.
100%. And then also, even though I don't always like it, we don't always work together.
Next to each other. Next to each other.
Yeah. So like, I'll go like, maybe to a coffee shop, or I'll go like to like a co-work area, whatever it might be. Aiden might work from, like, Aiden loves working from the actual apartment. So we don't always work together, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, and like this year we've started like taking separate meetings and stuff like that when it comes to like meeting people out and about and networking. Yeah. Well, we split up that a little bit more because, sometimes I'll go meet someone that, I've created a connection with or something, through an event. You'll meet someone you've created a connection with through an event. And
make sure it's not like us. We're not all going to these meetings together all the time. I think that's important.
Yeah, but that's taken time. That has taken time to build it.
But I definitely think that not working together and then having the Slack has made all the difference. Because then if I'm coming down on my break and I'm like, chop the peppers, I'm coming down on my break, and then we'll make lunch together.
And then I think finally that understanding, especially like maybe you're in work mode, but when your partner isn't in work mode. So I know when you're cooking, don't talk to you about work.
Yeah.
That's your time to switch off. You put some on, you put your headphones in, and you just cook. You know, still talk to you about life stuff if I need to.
But you need brain breaks.
But you do need those breaks of understand, being considerate of when someone, unless it's maybe an emergency, being considerate of when somebody is definitely doesn't want to think about work and doesn't want to talk about work and having their time to do other things.
I agree. I think there's loads of other things that people do say, but I think that's like the main things. I think this video is going to be about 35 minutes as a whole anyway. But that's kind of what it's like to work together. Those are like the most questions we get. Most people are, the number one thing people will say is like, how do you do it? And I'm like, I didn't just marry Aiden because like I fancy him. Like, he's my best friend. Okay. He's my best friend and I love spending time with him. Like, I actually do love spending time with him. Just so you know. Thanks, babe. So I'm like, it's easy in that respect. Like, we love spending time together, but we also make sure that we're separate in that way too. That we still have our own separate interests. And like, we, again, even that time taken away where we're not working together, but we're working on the same thing, makes all the difference. Oh, the other thing that we always say makes a good difference is we don't work on exactly the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I do the strategy, Aiden does the design. I'm not the designer. Like, I'm the briefer of the said designs.
Yeah.
And can you make this more pop, more sizzle? But I'm not the designer. So
yeah, it's having those separate focuses within.
I think that definitely helps. I could imagine you'd have more conflict if like there was both on a strategy point of view and you disagreed on things. I think that would make a big difference.
Potentially, but also I think, again, that's all about open and honest communication, isn't it? Like, it is good to have conflict sometimes about having different opinions, because then you can look at things from different angles that you might have not done by yourself. And especially being like, even just as simple as you're a woman, I'm a man, you'll see things a bit different as a woman, I see things a bit different as a man. Even that, but then also as all the other small, minute things that you could say as well. And that does help sometimes. And again, that might not be for it might not be for everybody, but
yeah, I would say, like, because again, when I speak to them this morning, I don't think doing this is for everyone.
No,
like, not
I don't
even,
think
like,
it is. No,
I don't think it is, because I think you're a very patient person. I think,
that's where the PE teaching does that come into effect nowadays.
Yeah, and I'm a very intense person, I would say. So if you had two people who are quite intense and then you put them in a work setting as well, I think that might be a lot of fire, whereas Aiden calms me.
I also don't think everyone necessarily has the same interest in what they want to do in their career.
No.
That you shouldn't force it. It should be something that you both really want. Obviously, if you make like a business deal, like a product business, let's say, you're going to be very passionate about it. But then it is figuring out like what different parts of that business you're interested in and what you want to work on and grow with.
I agree.
But if it's like us with a service basis, not everybody wants to do like.
Okay, about to go dead again.
Oh.
Okay, guys, that was everything. If you have any questions or you're interested in this, leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.
Bye.